Greetings, friends. Welcome to another one of our Lenten reflections on the Gospel of John. I'm the Reverend Dr. Mary Biedron, and I'm coming to you from my kitchen today as I'm preparing following worship tomorrow for a few days away for grandma time and to do some other things. But I did want, as we were coming up on Passover, which is concurrent with the end of Holy Week for us this year, next week, I wanted to say a few things about John's Gospel and the concept of the Jews. So, in that Gospel, there's a lot of very negative characterization of the Jews, and that's specifically how it's always written, the Jews. And I want to be clear because this has been used for centuries to fuel anti Semitism, to condemn people who are Jewish, to condemn the Jewish religion, to condemn all of those things. And I need to present an important counterpoint to that because that was not truly the intention. First point I want to make is that in the story time, so John was written sometime after 70 AD, probably about 90 AD, a long time after Jesus lived, but it's telling a story that happened in the very first 3 decades of we now call it the first century of the Common Era. At that time, and Jesus' time of Jesus' own life, there was no such thing as Christians. There weren't Christians. People weren't called Christians. Jesus was not a Christian. He was Jewish. The people that he healed and fed all around him were Jewish. The apostles were all Jewish. The people who hailed him on Palm Sunday were Jewish. The people that he stayed with, his friends, even the people he argued with, all of them were Jewish. They lived in Palestine, in this occupied territory of Judea that the Roman Empire had under its command. But the Roman Empire did not enforce their own religion. They allowed the Jewish religion to flourish in its own way as a subject faith. So who is John talking about when he talks about the Jews? If you look at things like the apostles hiding in the upper room, waiting for Jesus to send word, and they're hiding away for fear of the Jews, since they were themselves Jewish, I think it's pretty clear that they're not afraid of all Jewish people. They are afraid instead of the leaders of the faith, of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. It's characterized in some places of the temple police, of the Jewish authorities and the Jewish rulers, the Jews who had done certain things to maintain peace with Rome so they could practice their faith, the Jews who were practicing power plays over everybody else. These are the people known as the Jews that John is talking about. And they were also the people who conspired against Jesus, who calculated and plotted his death and took him to Pilate to get Pilate to do their dirty work. The whole point of this friction between Jesus and the religious authorities is, as I've said on Sunday, the question of who is the true king, who is your true ruler, where is the true seat of power in the life of a follower of Jesus? It is a different place than it is for most other people. Now, Jewish people also follow the same God. They have the same 10 commandments. The Hebrew Bible is tremendously important in Christianity, and the teachings of Jesus and the practices of the church right from the start have deep roots in the practices, the knowledge, the teaching, the wisdom of Judaism. We read the Psalms and we own them, we love them, we find instruction in them because that is also God speaking to us. The Jews, again, in this story, who are seeking to get rid of Jesus, are trying to secure their own power. In the Franco Zeffirelli movie, Jesus of Nazareth, which I recommend if you can get a hold of a copy or find it online, it's excellent, based on a lot of scholarship. There are scenes where Jesus is teaching in the temple courtyard, and the leaders are standing around looking extremely nervous. And all along the battlements, the top of the temple walls, are standing the Roman centurions with their weapons in their hand, looking down upon the people, almost daring them to rebel, to do something. And so, in one way, the Jews were trying to preserve and prevent the destruction of their faith, the destruction of the temple, of all that they felt they stood for. Ultimately, they did not succeed. Ultimately, that did happen in around the year 70, the Romans invaded Jerusalem. They tore the temple down. All that was left is one west wall that was buried under the rubble. They salted the grounds. They drove off everyone who was worshiping there, Christians and Jews. And the Jerusalem church, the church that was led by James, brother of Jesus, was one of the casualties of this. And then the church's authority, just as the empire's authority, was returned to Rome. And that story continues in that way. So, as we begin to look at this, what we want to really understand is when John is railing against the Jews, accusing the Jews of things. He is talking about people who have resorted to legalism over compassion. He is talking about people who are seeking to cement their own power or bow down to the needs of power greater than them instead of to God, and people who have a tremendous amount of influence, who have influenced a lot of people to either follow or not follow Jesus, and ultimately to call for Jesus' crucifixion. I believe that for all Jews, there is a separate covenant. I don't think that a Jewish person needs to become Christian in order to actually approach God, because they have an existing covenant with God, but they need to follow that covenant. They have their own path, and we have our path as Christians, all of them leading to the God made known in Abraham and also made known in Jesus, to the God who has led God's people through all time, God who reaches out beyond Judaism to the Gentile world, that is, all people who are not born Jewish, so pretty much most of us, to begin to say that this story, this truth, this teaching is for everyone. In history, there have been times during Holy Week when there has been tremendous persecution of Jewish people. And it's hard to say. Every year I know that there is concern as Passover approaches for the Jews and Holy Week approaches for the Christians, that there will be violence against places of worship, against synagogues. I hope and pray that that's not true. I hope and pray that we can see that they are our brothers and sisters from a covenant of their own, but also that we will have the courage to stand against those things, that we will have the courage to recognize that we are not called to be the judge of hearts. Only God can do that work. And someone who is faithfully following the path laid out for Abraham and Moses is as faithful as those of us who are following the path laid out by Jesus as they lead to the same destination. That said, I hope that you will think and listen to the story of how Jesus is tried and condemned, understanding that the realism for us is that we probably, because we're weak, because we're afraid, because we're easily swayed, are the same kind of people that are told about in that story, who would welcome Jesus on Palm Sunday with cries of Hosanna, and who would then by Friday be in a mob yelling, "Crucify him," to Pilate. So as we go into Holy Week on Sunday, this coming Sunday, the 10th of April, Palm Sunday, we will have palms in the sanctuary worship. We will be singing songs of Palm Sunday, and then also we will be moving into Passion Sunday. That's Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Facebook Live, as well as in the North Church Sanctuary. Maundy Thursday, we will have a communion service thinking about Jesus' command to love one another. That will also be live in the sanctuary as well as held online at 7 p.m. on Maundy Thursday, the 14th of April. On Good Friday, the 15th of April, I will have a recorded program that I will share with you at 7 p.m. on the 15th, Good Friday, that will just really be more of a mood piece, a piece of psalm, a piece of prayer, a piece of understanding that we too participate in many of our own ways of trying to somehow kill the truth that has come into the world with Jesus. And then don't skip those things, because they lead us to Easter Sunday, which will be the 17th of April. We will have loud alleluias in the sanctuary. We will have a special coffee hour following worship. We welcome you and anyone who is in the area to come and join us for that time. And if you are not, you can join us online on Facebook Live. So we've got a whole week and a half of worshipful time as we move into our days of awe. I hope that you will join me for them, and I hope that God will be with you until we meet again.